Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to FreshandFit Podcast. We are here
once again
with the attorneys.
Uh-oh.
We got a great episode for you guys. They did a lot of research. You guys can see we got a lot of paperwork here. We got some stuff to go over. Let's do it. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to FreshandFit Podcast, man. Quick announcements before we get into the show. We got a lot of stuff to go over today, guys. Sorry for the delay, but we had to make sure we had our, I's dotted and T's crossed. All right, patreon.com/FreshFit, where you guys can get all the behind-the-scenes content. We need to do a Zoom call this week, actually. We didn't get a chance to do it yesterday, but we are going to do it this week. Stay tuned for an announcement either maybe tomorrow or Thursday, because those tend to be our easier days. Patreon.com/FreshFit. Okay, so check us out there. Also, we're on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Every single platform you listen to podcasts, we are there. Chris uploads every morning. And just go on Anchor, guys, and it gets uploaded to any type of platform you like to listen to it on, whether it's the bigger platforms like Spotify or the smaller ones like Acast. We're there.
One-stop shop.
And check out the No Jumper interview on Anchor, by the way.
Ooh, that was funny as hell, bro.
Let's get it.
Well, both interviews, man. And then also, guys, get the merch. FreshFitPodcastStore.com. I got the Who Hurt You shirt on right now that just came out recently. And Fresh has the hoodie on. So check out the merch. Get it there. Also, a vlog channel. Fresh has a vlog channel.
Guys, for behind the scenes, man, of our life, when we guests on the show, the girls late night, when we travel, check it out, 50K on the way.
Cool. And then also, guys, check us out on Twitch. Twitch.tv/FreshFit Podcast. Check us out over there so you guys can see it in better quality, because the quality over there is better. The 1080p goes a lot further than it does on YouTube. But just do us a favor. Open up both tabs and watch us on both and like the video. And then let's see here.
Yeah, guys, follow me on Twitch on Aaron Poxon. Last night's stream was very lit. I streamed for 3 hours, and tomorrow I will have an early stream around 7 o'clock. So let's get it.
All right, cool.
All right.
And then, guys, for video topics, DM Trey at Trey Talk Sports. He's in the house right now. He enjoyed the J. Cole concert. And, other than that, let's introduce our guests.
Trey, real quick, Trey. How was the concert, bro?
He's looking at his lips, guys.
It was lit, man.
There you go. Shout out to J. Cole.
Cool. Perfect.
Hi.
Jen, how you doing? Good to see you again.
Well.
Welcome back, y'all.
Can you guys, for the people that might not know, because it's been a while since you guys have been on, right?
It's been a minute. A long time.
I saw some people in the chat like, who are they? And I was like, oh, well,
you guys have
got a lot to
updated
learn.
merchandise now.
Yeah, we got fantastic.
Yeah,
Who hurt you?
Who hurt you? I love it.
I
What?
love it.
I need the backstory on that.
Man.
Oh, who hurt you when they tell you who hurt you? Why are you like this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every single time on the podcast, we've basically been we've merchandised every single quote that people say.
It.
Who hurt you, for example?
Yeah. But this ain't about us.
Yes.
No.
This is
It's
about you
always
guys.
about y'all. But no, thank you for having us back.
Can you guys introduce yourselves for the people that may not know?
Absolutely. So my name is Jennifer Pratt. I'm a Florida licensed attorney. I'm the managing partner at Prada Law. You can reach me at my Instagram, which is at Pratt Law, Pratt Law. Our website is www.prada.law. And our Instagram is at prada.law as well. We are a full-service international law firm. We have an office in Miami, in Doral, and in Medellin, Colombia. And this is Daniel Silver. He is also an attorney at the law firm, and he heads up the family law department, and he handles exclusively family law. Mr. Silver?
I'm AV rated. A bunch of other accolades, but yeah, I head up the family law department. I do marital and family law. I do a lot of domestic violence cases, and we're here. We're here to answer questions, and it's always an honor and pleasure to be here and join you guys.
We're happy to have you guys, man. So guys, a couple of topics that we're going to tackle today. We're going to tackle, basically personal self-defense with the Castle Doctrine and stand your ground law in Florida. And then we're also going to go over some other things such as, what was it? It was marriage, divorce.
talking a little bit about prenuptial agreements and how
Yes.
they can be challenged and how we effectively challenged one a little while ago.
Perfect.
Talking about how little good information about some child support
you
enforcement
won.
cases. Oh yeah, we did. Well, in family cases, there's no winning. There's varying degrees of losing. You're never really winning when you're. I mean, if you got someone coming after you for like 3.5 years of child support, like it's not a big win. But when you can mitigate the damages,
Of course.
it was a win for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, for sure. Okay, so I'll read these super chats real quick and we'll get into it, guys. Oh, and then also we're gonna have a Q&A at the end, guys. Chris, what do you want to do?
20 up is fine.
20 and up, guys, and we'll answer your questions at the end. So super chats real fast. We got 279 from Shaniqua Weeks. Fresh honey, the child support due like yesterday. That's hilarious.
That's funny.
You got a kid in Canada?
I don't
Okay.
even do Shaniqua, so that wouldn't even work out.
And then Goose is land. Congrats on hitting 400K for the third time. Proud of y'all. It's only up from here.
Thanks,
Hashtag
bro.
road to 500K. Thank you so much, guys, for all the support. We appreciate it greatly. And we're gonna keep giving you guys this content, man. With all kind. On Saturday we gave you guys no jumper. We give you guys content how to make money. Give you guys content how to protect yourselves from getting divorce scraped. We give you guys content on how to get girls. Everything, man. Is
Finance,
here, man.
credit, real estate.
moving, sliding cameras. We got everything for y'all. So with that said.
I got one more. Botman.
Oh, another one. Botman, shout out to Freeza. 401k and still alive. I knew we could do it. I can't wait for the 500k party. And to all the haters, I have this to say.
Stay over there.
Stay over there. Thank you so much, Botman. I appreciate it greatly. And we wouldn't be here without your guys' support.
For real, man.
We appreciate it greatly. We're going to keep giving you guys this heat. While they hate, we create, okay?
Ooh, I like that.
Oh, yeah, I'm a rapper on the side.
Money Mondays.
Yeah.
We're here.
We need you on
Money
the beat.
Mondays, in this case, this is saving your Money Mondays. So,
Fricker.
yeah. So, okay, cool. So you guys had some stuff you want to go over real fast. So
Yeah, so we wanted, you asked us to come and talk to the people. And first and foremost, our disclaimer is that we're only licensed in Florida, and everything we're going to be talking about is the state of Florida, United States of America. But there's a lot of similar laws in other states and things like that. But certainly if you're not in Florida, then,
A lot of laws that have, or a lot of states that have backwards laws. So before you assert stand
Right,
your ground,
right,
like
right.
assert burner, check
So-
check your local listings.
Right. Right. So the first thing you're going to want to, so you asked us to talk about like people coming to your house, whether it be a woman, a man, a group of people, maybe coming to your job, maybe attacking you while you're in your vehicle. We've seen a lot of recent upticks in road rage,
Yes, of
things
course.
like that, people, just being violent all around, all over the place. So, one thing you're going to want to look at first and foremost is, do you have a duty to retreat or not? And in the state of Florida, the answer usually is no, you don't have a duty to retreat, but there might be a state where you do, right, Dan? Like you have a duty, like it doesn't matter if a guy or a girl, whoever's coming up to you with a gun, you have a duty to run away. But in this grandiose state, we don't. So,
which was made famous by the Zimmerman case.
that was
Sure,
one of,
like
that
a
was
decade ago, right? Almost.
Absolutely.
that was one of the cases, yeah. So we have the Castle Doctrine, and then we have the Stand Your Ground. So it's two different statutes, and I don't want to bore you guys. I'm a former high school teacher, so I could sit here and lecture you all day.
Oh.
But basically,
like Chris.
oh yes, exactly. We've talked about it, right? So, but basically, in a nutshell, and I'm happy for Dan to chime in here whenever he wants. The difference is, does somebody come to your house, right? And whether or not you can use deadly force or not. I think that's what most people want to know.
Deadly force or reasonable force.
Right. So the deadly force versus reasonable force. Like, so deadly obviously is
I mean,
gun.
if someone comes in your home with a gun, that's obviously a threat of your life, and you can use deadly force right back. But, if they're not necessarily coming in with deadly force, but they're still committing a burglary, you can use whatever reasonable force is necessary to protect yourself. But then again, if they're committing a burglary in that act, I think you have reasonable force to use reasonable ability to use deadly force if they're actually breaking into your home, because in that regard, they're committing a felony.
Right.
And once they're committing a felony, your home is your castle. But then again, I've seen criminal cases where, let's just say you're in your car, you have your window down, you have a gold chain on. Someone just runs by, grabs your chain off your neck. That's a burglary as well as, a theft. And all of a sudden it gets much more serious. So you do have that reasonable expectation of privacy and protection when you're in your vehicle minding your own business and someone, crosses that plane.
right. And there's actually a presumption in Florida. So straight from the statute, like a person is presumed to have held a reasonable fear of imminent peril of death or great bodily harm to himself or herself or another when using this threat, if the person that came in with the force, that they either used the force or threatened, was in the process of unlawfully or forcefully entering, like what he's saying, like, so they break down your house. Like, if somebody kicks down your door, you don't have to run to your back. You don't have to run away through your backyard. Like, you can stand up for yourself, right?
Yep.
You can protect
Get the
yourself.
shotgun.
You can get the shotgun. And, at that point, you may not know whether or not they have a gun on them. But, you're in the dark, let's say, but they're breaking into your house, you're going to shoot them. And so there's a questionable degree there of whether it was justifiable, but I would say it probably is, because funny enough, or interesting enough, not funny enough, interesting enough, this does not apply to police officers when they break into your house. And it reminded me a lot of that case of the young lady, I forget her name right now, that they said the boyfriend was a drug dealer and they shot from outside. It was in another state, like Georgia.
Brenda something, I don't know.
Brianna Taylor, I think.
Yes.
The black girl?
Yes.
Yeah, I forget her name.
But that was a no-knock announcement.
Right. But
yes,
so
not
this
applicable.
statute
Yes.
actually says that if it's a police officer and they identify themselves as a police officer, you can't then shoot. And they obviously have to be a police officer, right? It can't be your ex-crazy girlfriend saying, I'm the police, just so you don't shoot her. And then, no, obviously.
Yeah.
I think her name was Breonna Taylor.
Yes.
Yes, Breonna Taylor. So, I did that. I found that very interesting. And, you can use the deadly force. I know that there's a video that we brought to show you guys, because one thing that I hear a lot of people say is, or that you want to do because you're angry, right? Somebody just invaded. Like, one of the worst things is having your house burglarized. I don't know. I've had, as a kid, I remember my house got robbed one time and we got home and everything was all over the place. And it's the most violation of a feeling ever that you can feel. You feel so violated, is chasing the intruder or intruders as they're running away and shooting at them.
Yeah.
I think we can agree that gets very tricky and that may not be
Not so tricky when you're shooting people in the back when they're running away from your home. No. You get charged with that one.
Yeah, you're
all
probably
of a sudden
gonna get charged.
that heat of the moment, you're no longer in fear in your life when they're getting away with all your stuff.
Right.
And you're just watching your stuff go into the breeze, and you're like, okay, I'm going to fire a couple of shots like in the movies. But no, you just can't do that.
right. Yeah.
Damn. So even if they're running away with something that
You would
is
think
worth a lot of money.
You would think,
Damn.
but like, it's not the code of Hammurabi in the state of Florida. So
Right.
So if you're a robber, just turn your back and run away. You'll be fine if you're a robber.
Well, don't do no oblaka.
Yeah, they don't care about the law over there.
Okay.
So, basically, you gotta meet threat with the same kind of threat that you're being threatened with.
To some degree.
Right. I mean, if the person shows up completely with nothing, no bat, no knife, no nothing, it's arguable as to whether you can just shoot them point blank in the head. But
I'll tell you one thing. So, all I do is marital and family law. I don't handle castle law doctrines, but I'm reading these statutes, and I do a lot of work in domestic violence cases. And domestic violence is committed one of two ways. One, you're a victim of domestic violence. You get punched in the done. Number two, you have reasonable inference to believe that you have an imminent fear of being a victim of domestic violence because of all this stuff that happened. But it's the same type of, subjective belief as to whether or not, like, how the court's going to look at how are you feeling at this time. If someone kicks in this door right now with a bunch of weapons, you're damn right we're going to use reasonable force. But if they kick the door down because, I don't know, maybe they're just talking about some bill that they owe for some microphone equipment or something, now maybe you just can't start blasting, but you can use reasonable force. But that's basically
another thing that I found really interesting about the statute is that the person that wants to enforce the castle doctrine, so the homeowner, let's say, or the person that wants to say, I shot back because I thought they were coming at us, in the statute, you're actually not protected, and you can't try to use the castle doctrine if, when you try to use it, you are engaging in criminal activity. So, for example, if you're a drug dealer, you can't, and you're selling drugs, and somebody comes and tries to rob your stash or whatever, you actually can't use the castle doctrine.
They thought that through in the legislature. They're like, by the way, like, it's not like Your Honor, like, I was defending my 4 bricks, and they were going to take them, and I had to let a couple of shots off.
Right,
it's like castle doctrine.
Right. So
what about if you're like a scammer and use computers? Is that still considered?
I mean,
It's illegal.
I guess there could be an argument by the state that if there was some sort of illegal activity, another way that you don't get to use it is if you don't have lawful permission to be where you were at the moment. So in reading up on some cases to bring to you guys tonight, it's not one of the ones I'm highlighting, but one of them talked about that the guy was trespassing, and then he tried to use the castle doctrine in a house that he himself was trespassing in. Like he became a victim.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so he like trespassed
Maybe
on the house.
it's like the burglar that gets caught and all of a sudden getting all beat up.
something like that, and
Something
so
ridiculous.
basically the court said no because he didn't have lawful permission to even be there to begin with because he himself was committing a crime at the time.
What the hell?
So
Damn.
So just a little caveat, and actually,
So for all you guys out there that run a stash house, you cannot shoot at the guys that try to rip you off. Okay.
and also there is an exception for DV for domestic violence, but actually you cannot use the castle doctrine against a child or a grandchild. So, like, if it's your own child or a grandchild,
Oh,
or
shit.
otherwise in the lawful custody or under the lawful guardianship of the person against whom the defensive force is used or threatened. I found that very interesting too. So
Wow.
basically, you can't try to kill your kid and say that it was the castle doctrine.
wow.
But some parents have 16, 17-year-old kids that are like bigger than them. So
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. Then there's also the stand your ground, which is also really interesting. This applies anywhere, and we did bring a case
In the state of Florida.
In the state of Florida, right. In other words, in any location, we could go downstairs to the mall,
The club.
the club.
The
and
club,
store.
yeah.
In fact, one of the cases that
The country music festival
Well, the
up in the
country
first DCA. That's why I like the third DCA. We're
Wait,
here in
so-
Miami.
Sorry, Chad's accident. So if any kid breaks in, you can't use that.
No, it has to be your child,
kid.
or that you have a legal guardianship over that child.
All
Is
right.
the statute carves out actually an exception. I guess what the legislator was thinking was you can't try to kill your own kid and say it was castle doctrine. I
Something
guess.
like yeah, I mean
Something like that.
makes
But there
sense.
is a domestic violence exception for like if you're getting your butt whooped, and we'll talk
Okay.
about that in one of the cases.
Okay.
But in this case, they were at a music concert, and it was
Country music
a country
Western
music
festival.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Maybe people like country music, and so the
it gets better when the bottles come out.
so two women start fighting.
Okay.
And one of the women are there, and they knew each other before they got to the concert, so they weren't complete strangers.
Okay.
They start fighting, and one of the women pulls out a bottle and breaks the bottle over her head.
Oh, shit.
And they start fighting, and then the girl who broke the bottle, her man is there with her, and he comes from behind and pushes the other girl because it looks like the other girl's getting because she just got hit with a bottle, so now she's beating up on the girlfriend, and he comes and pushes her and starts beating her up.
Okay.
I mean, but like beats her to a pulp.
Oh,
let's
wow.
let's
Okay.
just reading from the opinion. 4 days in the hospital, lost 4 or 5 liters of blood.
Oh, wow.
Plastic surgery everywhere. Like it's
To repair
it's
her face,
bad.
her
The
ear.
guy
Vocal cords
the guy
don't
beat the
work.
girl that bad.
Scars everywhere. It's bad.
Facial nerve had been cut. She had to get surgery to repair her vocal cords. One of them still didn't work. She had scars on her face. I mean, he whooped her up. Okay.
Damn.
Beyond any reasonable beating.
And when he gets arrested, he says it was stand your ground. He was protecting his lady. He was protecting his lady because she was getting beat up by the other
Yeah,
girl.
She had a bottle smashed over her head, right?
Well, no, it was the girlfriend who smashed the bottle over her head. But then after that, the girl starts beating her up, and that's
Stabbing her
when
with
the
a
guy.
bottle. It's just
Okay.
all sorts
Yeah,
of
and that's
bad.
when the guy comes in, and the court basically. Oh, so in the state of Florida, also one of the only states I think it is the only state in the country. The burden of proof is not on the defendant to prove the stand your ground. It is on the state. It is on the prosecutor. So once you as a defendant file the motion to dismiss or the motion asking the court to give you this immunity, the stand your ground immunity, that's all you have to say. You don't have to prove your case.
Oh, wow.
It's the state.
Hey, shout out to Florida.
It's the state. And it's a really high burden. It's actually clear and convincing evidence that the state has to prove that, no, you shouldn't because of X, Y, and Z.
That's gonna burn the Zimmerman case. So it was on the state. Fucked that one up then.
Well, I don't
They
think the
couldn't
law
prove-
had passed yet. This is rather recent. This is 2015, I
17,
think.
17.
Yeah. So it's recent that the burden shifted. The
Burden
burden
shifting.
used to be, I think, on the defendants, and then
Whoa.
it shifted. The legislator shifted it.
Okay.
And again, the state doesn't have to prove it by a preponderance of the evidence, which is like taking a feather and putting it on their side. Clear and convincing. You're not supposed to say like it's an X number percent, but just for argument's sake, let's just say it's 75 out of 100.
Okay, so it's
like,
not as low as preponderance of the evidence, but it's not as also as steep as beyond reasonable doubt.
No,
they're-
right.
nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah, so
Right,
that's right there.
right.
That's
And
why he's fit. Nailed it.
And in this case, just to wrap it up, the
Yeah.
court said, no, you can't use the stand your ground. And here's why, guys. if he would have maybe grabbed the girl and just pushed her off his girlfriend, that probably would have been okay.
Maybe one punch.
Maybe one punch. No. Maybe one punch
in
would
the
have
heat
been
of the
okay.
moment, reasonable force. Just saying.
One Punch Man.
Yeah.
But what the right? But what the
that Falcon punch.
What the court found was that the prosecutors presented clear and convincing evidence that a reasonable person in the guy's position would not have used the same force as the guy. You know, he basically, he destroyed her. It was like Punisher.
He really,
he really
loved this girl, bro. He gave her that fucking.
Jeez.
So
All the way.
So that's, you got to also be conscious of what force you're doing, and you can't overdo it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The girl gets one punch and one throw, she's out.
Let's just think of it this way. It's physics. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction, right? So, if someone comes at you with a little knife, you can't have a big gun. It has to be a proportional use of force.
Yeah.
Under these statutes.
Okay. All right. So if they come at you with a butter knife, have a bazooka ready. Okay. Makes sense.
Interesting.
Nailed it.
Okay, guys. So super chats real quick. We got Myron, $5. Myron, next time just blow that filthy felon animal away if he comes back again. Oh man. Thank you, King Life, for all the support.
King Matt.
$10 from King Matt. I let a girl in my house to help her. She didn't want to leave when I told her to. By law in Florida, if someone stays longer than 30 days, they are considered an illegal tenant.
72 hours, right? 30 days. Yo, she planted her flag after I think like 3 days.
We could have a whole episode on evictions and detainers, which is actually
what's a detainer?
An unlawful detainer, which is where you actually someone that you're revoking their, and we did kind of talk about this, I think, in one of the episodes.
We can go over it real quick.
Like we talked about it briefly, like if once you revoke your invitation, making sure they have to go. The difference between when you have to evict someone versus not, right? And that's why it's really, you got to be really careful who you bring into your home. If she starts or he starts making address changes, starts getting bills at your house, these are all red flags, because they're going to establish what's called residency, and now you have to evict them, which is a whole legal process.
Got to get the police involved.
And
in the meantime, they're chilling at your house.
You gotta actually go to court and evict them and show that why you're evicting them and all that, or unlawful detainer. Again, it just depends. But just word of advice: yes, be careful.
But
don't let them.
But
get
his question was 30 days. He's well beyond. I think it's like 3 days, isn't it?
What? 3 days?
Like once someone can actually come into your house and they've been staying there a certain amount of time, and then
I think it's actually 15 consecutive days in the state of Florida, but I'd have to double check the statute during the break. I know we don't have breaks, but I could get back to you on that. You DM me at Pratt Law. We can talk about it. I talk to a lot of your viewers on my Pratt Law all the time, and they're always like, "Oh my God, you wrote back." I'm like, "Of course I wrote back. I'm a human being." So maybe I take a day or two, but I will write you back. Like I will.
I'm Jennifer Pratt, not Jennifer Lopez.
But I'm still Jenny from the block.
Yeah. Do you catch?
Do you want to play the video, or do you want to talk about some of your experiences with some of our followers?
Whatever you'd like. I think it's a great video to show people what they
let's
can
play
and can't do. And it doesn't hurt that the girl apparently had an OnlyFans. This is what I heard. This is a disclaimer. I don't know that. Allegedly has a OnlyFans.
I saw the video. Bussin'. Yeah, I see where she got OnlyFans.
Yeah, we're gonna play the video.
Allegedly. I don't know. I have no evidence.
We're gonna play a video here for you guys that kind of encompasses what we're speaking about. Chris is gonna pull it up, and I will say this too. So, just out of curiosity, when it comes to I guess defending yourself or whatever it may be, obviously the totality of circumstances comes into play as far as like maybe you might have known this individual, you might know what they're capable of, or maybe there were threats prior and all that. I'm sure that all comes into play as well when deciding what level of force to inflict upon said individual when they may be breaking into your place or there might be something going on. Sorry, go ahead.
No. You're right.
Yeah.
And that's why if you have been charged with a crime that you believe that you can use the castle doctrine or stand your ground or both or whatever, you should have a very good attorney. I understand attorneys are not, relatively cheap. I get it. But this is your freedom, and this could be the difference between you walking away from this or not. And those, what you're talking about is a great attorney bringing up defenses and putting that and laying that out. And oftentimes, although you may be afforded a public defender, God bless the public defender's office. They do an incredible job. They help thousands of people. But the reality is, and I'm not. This is true. They're overwhelmed. They have a lot of cases, and while there are some cases that they can really fine tune the defenses, this is one of the reasons why I highly recommend anybody I care about to hire a private attorney that can listen to everything that you're saying, word for word, and really try to detail it. And that's for any case across the board, not just criminal. Your family case, any case.
And you mentioned, well, why is the totality of the circumstances considered? If you look at the statute, it talks about the judge is looking at the statute and looking at whether this person reasonably believes such conduct, and then we're talking about reasonable force, deadly force. But if it's in your mind, then all of these little backstories, all of the little history, it's all relevant.
So just keep that in mind, guys. That every case is different, and God forbid something happens to you where you have to defend yourself or whatever it is, and you have to inflict some kind of damage upon an intruder, whatever. Just understand that you're going to need to be able to articulate why you did what you did based on the facts that were made to you at that moment. Obviously, one of the fortunate things is they don't operate 20/20 hindsight. Is what facts were known to you at the time of when it happened.
And these days, be very careful, because all your text messages, all of your social media posts are all admissible against you. And I'll tell you what, even in one of these cases, the one at the Country Music Fair, there was a video that basically corroborated the victim's point of view as well. And again, when you're out and about, there's security cameras everywhere. So it's car cameras everywhere. So everyone's recording.
Yeah,
that's how they got this video we're about to show. It was
so let's play the clip,
CCTV.
man. And if you guys find yourself in this situation, man, definitely hire counsel, man. You got to protect yourself. Even if you're the one that was first assaulted, then you inflicted force upon them, and then next thing you know, you're getting in trouble. Hire an attorney, man.
You don't know everything, so.
Okay, let's play this. Exclusive: homeowner targeted in Northwest Miami-Dade home invasion. Shootout shares ordeal. Okay.
And now on this one station, a wife and mother defending her family when crooks stormed their Northwest Miami-Dade home with guns. The men firing shots in her direction.
I wonder why that thing is blurred out there at the bottom.
And until
she's
she
naked.
turned, Sheldon Fox has the exclusive.
She was in her bedroom when the intruders came in. So who knows? She might have been coming out the shower.
Probably Molly Gardner's probably.
A blast at home, and not in a good way.
Everybody got to the ground. My son just stayed there, right here on the couch.
How old is your son?
7. Grabbed him, and I ran straight to the bottom.
26-year-old Ansley Pacheco took 7 News on an exclusive tour.
I'm the lie.
She
made sure we can't kill her, bro. She's too bad.
House 2 weeks ago.
He started shooting at me.
So this is her. She's shooting back here.
6, 7 times.
This is totally permissible. I'm gonna tell you what's right in this video was wrong. When they come in.
Pause. I ain't gonna lie, she's pretty attractive. But wait, hold on. so I could see it looks like a drum roll.
And she knows how to handle a piece.
Yeah, it looks like a drum roll from one of the invaders, man. So they had a lot of. They were prepared to.
She defends the family. She gets.
Thank God that didn't kill her, because. Hey, man.
All right, go.
Look how they come in. They follow this guy in.
Okay.
They were there for the NBA Finals. They were watching the NBA Finals. They were hanging out at this house. And then look, they're going to pull up on homeboy, and then they're going to walk in. The reason they open the door is because it's a friend. See, there it is. Bah, they're ready. Little 7-year-old on the couch, by the way. That's a 7-year-old in the corner. She hears the commotion. She straps up. This is all permissible. I'm all down for this.
Don't shoot me, my son is in here.
Don't shoot me, my son is in here.
She shoots back when they shoot at her.
You can imagine a mother's fear as she's inside of her room, which is being riddled with bullets. This door is brand new now, the glass replaced because it was shattered when bullets came through. But the bullet holes remain elsewhere, including in the closet door, in the bathroom door, on the headboard of the bed, and on the television.
They clearly had utter disrespect. Now that's her husband. He grabs the gun. Now this is what you cannot do.
Throughout the home. Fortunately, missing everyone. Those robbers stole watches and jewels from the group.
Well, and I get it. He's mad. They almost killed. Look, but see that? That's the husband chasing them down, shooting as they drive off. That, if he would have killed one of those guys, the intruders, I would say that he would probably get charged with something.
Manslaughter.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate because I'm not saying that is wrong what he did, but legally, I'd be pissed too. They almost killed my kid. They almost killed my girl. you know, they robbed, and they did steal watches and they did steal stuff from the guys. They were able to steal a bunch of stuff from the guys that were in the living room. So they got robbed. They almost got killed. You know, put them in a bad situation. But when he chases down and they're already driving off and he's shooting at them, that's problematic.
Man, she could have used the element of surprise and fucked them up, man. She shouldn't have opened the door. Don't shoot. Like, well, I don't know what she said. My son is in here or something like that. She should use. She should use the element of surprise, man, and just like you know.
It's tough though.
But I get it, man. I mean, you could tell she's not really trained to use a firearm from the way she was like moving and stuff.
She got off a few rounds though.
Yeah, she got off some, but but it's you know, we can all Monday morning quarterback. You know, in a situation like that, if you're not trained, you're gonna be terrified. So it is what it is. Venom 2333, $5. I'm surprised y'all not covering your own break-in.
Well, we can talk about it.
I mean, well, here's the thing. There's some things going on in the back, guys. So it is what it is. So. That's why. But trust me.
With the law.
Yeah. But anyway, continuing on, what else? Anything else, Chris?
No, we're good.
Okay, let's talk about the other thing. There was something else we were going to talk about with the marriage stuff. Yeah. And guys, get your questions ready. Get your questions in. Chris is going to save them. $20 and up if you guys got anything that you want to talk to the ESQs about.
So one thing, you know, we do get a lot of questions about prenuptial agreements, and we prepare prenuptial agreements. They're divorce insurance, and the way that we prepare them and we do them, they protect you. However, I wanted to tell you about another case that we had where we represent someone who had a postnuptial agreement prepared by different attorneys. Actually, one attorney that was representing the wife, I represented the husband. And
did the wife make more than the husband?
She did. Oh, I'm gonna get there.
And I want to tell you guys real quick, the backstory.
Yeah, just so they know.
And I know some of your viewers now are saying, "Who are we?" They don't know who we are, but we were like regulars up until y'all got too fancy for us. Y'all had 6ix9ine up in here and everybody. So, we had to wait a few months to come back. But back in the days, we used to be here on a regular, so we're back, okay? And we talked a lot about prenups, and we talked a lot about the Dr. Dre prenup, which by the way, just recently now he's paying her attorney fees, $1.5 million. Anyway, and so I get a lot of DMs asking me, what's the point then? Because I'm always advocating on my at Pratt Law Instagram, get a prenup, don't get married. And there are a lot of people like, but why if they could overturn them? Before Dan gets into this wonderful story where the man actually won, guys, so you want to hear this one. Okay. One for the city boys. The thing is, you can move to invalidate prenups. Of course, I'm not gonna lie to you. Of course, you can. Just like any contract, you can go and do a sales contract, a realtor, anything can get set aside if you have good enough reason. And Dan and I were talking about it yesterday. There's usually two reasons why these prenups get set aside. One is you made a mistake. You gave her you didn't, basically oftentimes you don't listen to your attorney's advice, or bad lawyering, okay? Something the lawyer didn't do right, didn't disclose. You're going to get an example now in this case of how it is that we were trying to set it aside. So, and let me be clear, usually the cases that are being set aside after a prenup agreement has been signed is usually a lot of money involved, guys. A la Dr. Dre. Most regular schmegular people like me and Dan and us, we're not going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars unless there's like millions of dollars in the line for us to make sense to try to invalidate this prenup or postnup, like in this case. So that's
Can you tell people the difference between a prenuptial versus
I'll let the master here.
Just so we can have it defined so that when we tell the story,
it's real easy.
Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely.
So before you get married, you enter into a prenuptial agreement and then you get married. When you enter into a postnup, you are already married, but for whatever reason you want to define your rights and responsibilities and everything else at that time through a postnuptial agreement, maybe instead of getting divorced or something like that. But it's basically an agreement that's reached during the intact marriage.
Now, with the prenuptial agreement, can you tell people real quick, just before we get into the story, because I want them to understand everything, what is outlined in a prenuptial agreement?
Basically, so in Florida, when you get married, two become one, and all of a sudden every dollar that you earn becomes half hers, and every dollar you borrow is a marital debt. So basically what we do with prenuptial agreements is say, one, there's no equitable distribution under Florida statute 61.075. It's all now governed under this contract, which basically says everything that there's no equitable distribution. My side of the table, stays on my side of the table, your side of the table stays on your side, and then again, everything we earn during the marriage, nothing's marital, so everything is separate.
Okay.
So the only thing you can't,
It
necessarily
basically invalidates that Florida law that everything that I make is no longer
Yeah.
50 cents on the dollar.
Or whatever
$1 is
you
mine, or you can whatever you want to make.
You were basically saying Florida laws about equitable distribution and alimony no longer apply. You can't put in, we can't say, hey, if I have a child, this is going to be the parenting plan, or this is going to be child support. Or, we can't negotiate away temporary attorney's fees or temporary support. But in light of all that, you can make sure that, look, if you own a business, if you own a piece of real property, and you get married, all of a sudden you're going to start commingling your business or your real property with marital funds. You're putting a marital component on a non-marital asset. That's a bad thing to do from a divorce attorney's point of view, and that's why prenuptial agreements protect you from that. Okay. So with all that being said, my client, who made less money than the wife, was asked by the wife to go to her lawyer's office and enter into a postnuptial agreement. They basically just wrote out their financial discovery just on paper. Mm-hmm. They wrote out their assets, they wrote out their liabilities, and they wrote out their income. They got this postnuptial agreement.
Can you tell us how much she made versus how much he made?
I will, sure.
Okay.
I'll give you a good estimate so you know what we're talking about. So during the negotiation, this is in just say mid-2019. Right in the middle of the year. Mid-2019, she says, my income is reflected by my 2018 earnings, which were $200,000. Because she's basically saying, I made the same as I made last year.
Okay.
He basically said, I make $150,000. So it turns out that when we got her pay stubs and all of her records, at that time, she had already made about $450,000 in that 2019. And she said, my income's basically
2.5 times more.
Right. Not only that, she set it up so that they signed on a Friday, and like 3 days later, she got a $150,000 bonus that she didn't disclose on her assets section. So basically, she ended up hiring like a very, very aggressive, very, very well-known attorney in Miami who was a real SOB on this case and litigated it crazy. But at the end of the day, that lawyer made a lot of money, gave her some terrible advice. Mm-hmm. She ended up firing him, got a new lawyer who was at another top firm. And basically, when we went to court, we started at this trial. We got about halfway through. And then when they saw that the agreement was basically not going to hold up because of this look, it was either fraud or an inexcusable mistake.
That's what I was going to ask next. Was did they go after her for lying under oath? Because
No,
I'm sure she
no,
had
no,
to sign that under penalty of perjury, right?
No. Well, here's the thing. At the end of the day, we used the vulnerabilities in the agreement. We knew it was going to get invalidated, but our guy also didn't want to be caught up in appeals and litigation for years. But let's just say that when he came to me, he said, "Hey, Dan, they want $50,000 from me to get divorced." Well, we turned that case around and we got him well over $250,000, maybe even 300. We got hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Nice.
So that's what we added value to that case because whatever fees that we charged, we made it up like tenfold for this guy.
And every case is different.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well,
whatever
this
cases
was
we
a
talk
real
about
special
tonight,
one.
obviously we can't guarantee or make any promises as to any, results. Every case is different. It's all case by case. But this is one where, and something that's really important that Dan didn't mention at the beginning, I think you got to give kudos to you, is this gentleman had gone to several attorneys before he came to our firm. And every law firm that he went to, what I would imagine he went to top law firms, just like his wife went to, told him, you don't have a case. This is impossible to invalidate. It's going to be really difficult. You should just pay her the $50,000 and just divorce her and get it over with, blah, blah, blah. And we took on the case again with no promises or guarantees. And Dan worked his butt off to make sure that he, could really prove and show the court during that trial. And again, we didn't finish the trial, but it got to the point where the judge was like, okay, so did you know you were going to make the bonus? When we knew
How much was the bonus?
$150,000.
$150,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gross. Yeah.
So she had already made 400. So let me just make sure I get this right.
Yes.
So she said that she only made 200,000. She was gonna make the same. She made $200,000 in 2018.
I mean,
Then she claimed, I'm gonna only make this in 2019. I'm already there. She shows you her income already at half the year in 2019, 450.
Pretty much, yeah. And at the end of the year, she ended up making about over 500.
So she lied the first time saying that I'm making the same money because she actually made double and a half. Then on top of that, before she filed, she failed to disclose that, oh, I'm going to get a huge bonus of $150,000 because I'm sure that she probably had to do what, like a financial affidavit or something like that?
Well, here's the thing. At the time of the the postnuptial agreement, they had kind of an informal exchange of discovery. Like, when you retain us, I'm going to get bank statements. But our guy at the time didn't have a lawyer. So they just wrote it out, and he was just thinking that she'd be honest and open with her. But yeah, it was either my argument was, at the end of the day, Your Honor, this is either misrepresentation or fraud, and whichever one, we win. And basically, at the end of the day, so in family cases, every family case, a paternity case, a dissolution of marriage case, you have to file a financial affidavit with the court. And my argument to the judge was, Judge, if this financial disclosure that she did for her postnuptial agreement, if this was a sworn financial affidavit in your courtroom, she'd be held in. This would be fraud. This would be perjury. Blah blah blah. Oh, I went.
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah. Why did they get her for false statements?
Because at the end of the day, it was a financial disclosure on a piece of paper like
wasn't
this.
Official.
Okay. It wasn't. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
it wasn't under penalty of perjury.
Correct.
But what Dan said in court to the judge was, if this was a divorce case and we were looking at this a year after the divorce, and this would have been a financial affidavit, you'd have to set aside that divorce, that final judgment, Your Honor. And I think that was like, the judge was like, you're right, Mr.
Stumper.
Silver.
Yeah, there's
right.
no
This
counter
lady
argument there.
tried to screw this guy. And look, by the way, I'm not saying always, but if somebody asks you to sign a postnup, you might want to really investigate because like, we're already married, and then like all of a sudden now, why? What you had?
Things
what you
are on
got
the rocks.
coming?
Yeah.
What you got coming?
He just bought Bitcoin.
Yeah, they got rich.
That's a good point, man. For any of you guys out there that don't have a prenuptial agreement, or if your wife tries to throw one on you, or your boy, I don't know, whatever. For the women out there that might be watching us, that's something to actually keep in mind.
Man, just don't get married,
or just don't get married. One of the two. I don't know, but or hire them to get you to draft up your prenuptial agreement.
That's always your choice too. Don't get married, sure.
Yeah. So what's the other one?
So
St. Boys, up on that one.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
So another one was just a child support enforcement hearing where our guy, they separated years and years ago, and she disappeared.
They were never married.
Yeah, they were
so
never
it's just a baby daddy,
married,
baby mama.
But he has other kids with other moms, and he's involved in their lives and stuff. So this one, though, she takes off, and then she files a child support enforcement case. But then instead of providing her address, she says, I'm the victim of domestic violence, so I don't need to provide my address. So our guy gets hit with the child support case. The Department of Revenue files in 2019, doesn't serve him till like 2021 in the very beginning, and they can go back another 2 years. So he's looking at 4 years of unpaid child support, and at this time he's been wanting to see the kid, but he doesn't even know where the kid is. So the woman is using the Department of Revenue as a sword, but at the same time not providing the address, or either way. So we represent our client, and at the end of the day, using my arguments for a downward deviation, I got him a 10% reduction on his entire bill.
What is the downward deviation?
So basically, in a nutshell, there's a child support guideline amount that the state,
in Florida, of course.
they're gonna run incomes and overnights. So you're gonna determine what the child support amount is, and the court is allowed to deviate 10% down from whatever the guideline amount is. So that's the most they can deviate from, and I got that.
Usually you can't.
Right,
it's
very
formula
hard.
is the formula.
Yeah.
But not only that, there was a certain amount of time where our client was involved in an auto accident, really, really bad, couldn't work during that time, but the department still wanted to hit him up with earning an income for child support. I got that washed away, which was good. And then,
like completely, where he didn't have to pay for it.
He had
no imputation of income.
No income at that time. And then the other thing was that we file a financial affidavit. And, my client, he has an income from salary and an income from disability. And I knew that he had been in a car accident, but still I took the time to really go over his financial affidavit. Turns out the disability isn't for him. It's for his, wife, but he's getting the money. But even so, I make sure that income isn't calculated towards his child support.
Oh.
So at the end of the day, look, in these two cases, we add value. Is the juice worth the squeeze? How much are the lawyer's fees versus what we're going to get? And in the prenup or so the postnup case, he may have spent this in fees, but we got him a huge amount. And even in the
So
child,
what did he end up winning on that one? We didn't get to finish on that.
I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah,
he won.
hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And remember, they wanted 50
wanted-
grand
yeah,
from
yeah.
him.
He was going to lose $50K,
Right.
But instead
Yeah.
he won hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And in this one, the amount over, like when they came up with this grand child support number, and let's just say the number, let's just say it's $15,000. When you look at what it could have been if he didn't have me there, and what he paid in my fees, oh man, it's worth every penny.
Yeah,
you know,
of course.
and not to mention he's being zealously represented. Oh, and here's the kicker: that big amount, that big retro, the judge told him to pay it off at like $50 a month.
Oh wait, the 50,000?
Yeah, no,
the retro.
the 15,000, the back child support.
Okay.
Because he was feeling for our client and did, I guess, who knows, but either way, he didn't like what the woman was doing, and at the end of the day, she said, "Oh, you're owed $15,000 in child support over 4 years, but you can pay it back at $50 a year, or sorry, $50 a month."
I thought it was 20.
Not bad.
It was something ridiculously
really
low.
ridiculous.
It was a
Like
slap in the face.
Cable bill.
Yeah, it's like it'll get paid off in like decades
And
or
the thing
something.
is, man, well, child support, what I've noticed is like your real goal is to just like mitigate the damage as best you can. You really can't like.
Well,
it's like
I mean,
it's
look,
tough to
there's
win.
at the end of the day, I mean, there are guidelines, and if you're a W-2 employee, these child support cases shouldn't be all that complex. If you own your own business, then all of a sudden things get much more complicated. in
Dan
these
is
cases.
being modest as usual. A downward deviation is super not common. It's
Yeah.
super. I'm not gonna say difficult, but not common to get. It is challenging. It is not something that pro se people usually would get, or even an attorney would get. So the fact that Dan was able to convince the court and advocate to get that downward deviation is incredible. And part of the reason he was able to get it is because he was able to show that he supports other children. That's also usually not taken into account unless it's court ordered child support.
Yes.
Okay. And in this case, the guy doesn't have, those other baby mamas have never taken him to court, but he pays child support like a lot of dudes do, right? But they don't, it's not by court order. It's just because they're just doing it.
Wait. So hold on, let me get this
You got
right.
3 kids?
So
He got like 2 or 3 other kids with 2 or
Right.
3 other baby mamas.
So if
Yes.
there's a court order in place and you're paying child support pursuant to a court order, that actually
gets
goes into the formula and you get a
Right, you get a credit. You get a credit.
But if you're just doing it voluntarily out of the kindness of your heart, you don't get
You
any
don't get that
credit.
credit.
hold on, let me start. I gotta stop. Come
Yes.
on, you guys need to like the goddamn video because that's very important what they just said. So let me get this straight. Let's say Myron Gaines, which I'm gonna have plenty of kids soon, right? Just kidding. Anyway,
Oh,
no, I'm
I'm
just
so
fucking around. It's a
excited.
joke. It's a joke.
By
Everyone's gonna
who?
Wait, what? So
Uh-oh.
let's say hypothetically, right? You have 4 kids, right? And you're paying for 3 of them, right? But you and the baby moms are cool. Hey, I'm cool with you. You're cool with me. Blah blah blah. We're gonna co-parent this thing. I get them every now and then, informal, nothing on paper. And then the 4th one is pissed, hates me. You don't pay enough, asshole. Takes me to court ordered. I cannot use the fact that I support these other children with the other moms to reduce the amount of money that I owe to her and or to, I guess, justify a more appropriate payment.
So you can use it, but it's just not automatic. Like if you had court orders, you just show the court orders and it automatically gets put in the formula. Here, you just kind of have to argue like, hey, like even though I don't get credit for the formula initially, like judge, I'm paying actual real money for my other kids, and the judge has the discretion in that case to knock down the child support 10%.
Now here's the question though: how fast can you get? Because I'm assuming with child support, they want you to start paying immediately. How fast can you get these other payments into that equation so that you're liable for less money?
They're not gonna beat this 4th case because she filed first. They're never gonna beat those other cases.
So you have to ask those baby mamas to file something
Yes,
for you.
they gotta file it. You gotta get a court order, and she already filed first, so it's very unlikely that these other 3 cases are gonna catch up to this case.
Yeah,
I mean,
so I would literally have to beg. Listen, man, I need y'all to go to court.
or you have a good lawyer,
Yeah.
and again, every case is different. You have a good lawyer like my husband here, Mr. Daniel Ray Silver, okay, who goes in there and said to the judge, "But hold on, this is a good man. This is a good man. He got a bunch of kids, and he supports all of them. And here's the proof. And you gotta have proof, gentlemen. Stop paying cash to these ladies, okay?
Another pro tip for you
he
guys
had
right
the
there,
proof.
man.
He had the proof of the payments,
Like the video.
and he was able to get the credit for him. But it's not automatic. You gotta argue it, and you gotta have good counsel to do it.
Does Cash App work or Venmo?
Oh, anything, man. Yeah, it's all
Yeah,
good.
that's better than better than actual
Yeah.
cash. You can at least screenshot and print.
There's a
something.
record.
Yeah, there's a
But,
record.
Look, every case is different. And I will tell you that, if you've got men out there with kids that are really doing a good job to pay for what they need, they're probably paying well in excess of the child support guidelines, because the child support guidelines aren't all that much money. There was an episode.
What's the formula for that? Just so I know,
it's kind of like the quadratic formula, but harder. So
let's
I can't.
Say if I make, let's say, $100,000 gross.
Well,
what would I owe?
Here's the thing: it's your income, her income, the number of overnights, the cost of the child's health insurance, daycare, and but there's a formula. And if you guys are curious, you can call us, and I'm happy to take the time to run some child support guidelines and do some scenarios, because we have Divorce Power Analyzer, and it's the same program the courts use in the state of Florida.
Okay,
or at least in Miami-Dade County.
There's a multitude of factors then. Overnights, child support. Okay,
but here's the thing: at the end of the day, we can run those factors, and it's going to be within $5 anywhere in the state of Florida that you go.
Okay, gotcha. Depending on what county you're in.
And Myron, this is why it's so important, if the gentleman here in Florida get hit with a child support action, for you to immediately move to try to establish paternity if you haven't already done so, and to get time sharing, because the number of overnights your children or your child spends with you at your house is relevant in that formula. So if you have one of those moms that aren't letting you see the kid, that's not up to her. It's up to the court. You need to go to court and fight for that time sharing for those overnights so they can get included. Not just, and I want to be clear, not just because of the child support, but because you really want to see your child. And by the way, there are men that still pick up their children and have them overnight, but just not court order, like you said, like everybody's kumbaya, but then she hits you with the child support. You're going to have to now go to court and establish this on paper.
I got one better for you. How about she hits you with, I just moved to California. Sayonara.
Bye.
What are you going to do?
Because you have no rights over the child, because you didn't establish paternity.
If you had established paternity, now all of a sudden there's a Florida relocation statute that neither parent can move with the child, more than 50 miles. But if you've never established your paternity, I mean, the mom could basically move anywhere, and then it's like,
can she charge you money if you haven't established paternity?
No.
The child support, yes.
She's still
hold on. Wait. Hold up. In a child support case, once child support is established, paternity is established.
Yeah, but he's asking, can I get child support even though she moved away?
No. I'm asking, like, what if she didn't establish paternity with you, and then she moves to California? You don't even know if the kid is yours. She can still.
You could do a DNA.
You can request
but
DNA.
still, but then she could hit you with the child support. Yeah, and you're not going to be able to bring her back.
Okay, but she could hit you. But when are you liable to pay? After the DNA results come back, or prior?
Nope.
Look,
2 years.
So yeah,
2 years before the petition was filed.
Yeah. So the court basically has the discretion to order 2 years of back child support. So basically, you could have a child, and the child's 2 years old, and the mom files, and now all of a sudden they can go back 24 months and get you back for that retro.
I ain't gonna lie, bro.
Damn.
And don't get me wrong. If you have a couple of $1,000s a month over 24 months, it can get chunky. And then it could be paid back at 20 to 25% of your base amount. So
every time y'all come on the show, I'm just glad at this point I'm not getting married.
One last thing before you guys go to Q&A or whatever you want to do next. The law in Florida actually changed quite a bit ago now, a few years ago. But keep in mind that before, women could go back from the date of birth of the child.
That's done now. Yeah.
I just said that.
Crazy.
I just said that it's not anymore. But so, for example, when I was a child, my mom could have waited until I turned 17 years old.
Holy shit.
Then filed the child support case against my dad and had 17 years worth of retroactive. I have had clients come to my office that are 50, 60 years old. Their kids are 30, 40, and they're still paying retroactive child support right now. And that's why the legislator said, this is abusive. Let's cut it at 2 years. But even 2 years before the petition, this still could get chunky. Like Dan said, it could still be a lot of money. So.
Fresh is looking like, get more condoms. might be running low.
Oh man,
This is your child, Fresh, 5 years old, Stacy.
Shout out, Shaniqua.
Yeah. Okay. So
Shaniqua.
some super chats came in.
We have one question, $10. So
Okay.
I don't know if you want to answer it.
Okay,
No.
this was actually a pretty good one from Sen. Okay, question for the super cool lawyers. Do you see the laws ever catching up with the times regarding divorces because women are making more money than ever now?
Yes, and let me say first
Shut
off,
them all.
in mandatory disclosure now, the rule kind of changed. So now not only do you have to disclose your credit cards and your bank statements, you need to disclose your cryptocurrency accounts. It's
damn.
right there in the in the certificate. So yeah, you just can't go put your money in Ethereum and think like it's going to be safe from the court.
And by the way,
Or her,
we
yeah.
have, I mean, we just did an MSA where the woman has to pay child support to the
Oh, sure.
husband.
Oh, so
women,
many-
if they make more money, guys, they have to pay the child support.
Are you guys starting to see an influx of this now that more women are? Because I mean, there's been a bunch of new data out there suggesting that women are out earning men in a lot of major cities in the United States. Which I foresee in the next 10 to 20 years, women are going to out earn men because more of them are in college, and more of them are pursuing, certain careers, higher education, whatever.
Two for one, I read now. For every one man, there's two in college or something.
Yeah, it's like almost 3/4 of the college population right now is female. So I foresee, and women are already right now complaining that, hey, there's not enough. There was an article that came out. I think it was, I forget which news outlet it was, but they said that there's a shortage of economically attractive men is what they used. So guys that earn at least an amount of money, that the same amount that they do. So long story short,
She took me off the market.
Yeah. She's smart. So have you guys noticed, like, I mean, obviously you had that case that you won recently, where could you tell us what they did for work or no?
I'd rather not, because
I don't know if it's public, but
it's just, let's just say that they were both professionals, not like Doral, but they were both good in their field. But look, at the end of the day, right now, you have plenty of relationships where women are earning more than men.
Yeah, for real.
If justice is blind. If you have it where, the mom has a couple of babies but goes to work and it's Mr. Mom and he never works, I mean, it's an alimony case. It's need and ability to pay. Given there may be some older male judges that may be akin to, opposed to, generally, but whatever.
paying dues, alimony and stuff, yeah.
But point being, at the end of the day, the law should not discriminate, especially not these days. Not these days at all.
Yeah, I've seen some cases where guys win, man. It's slowly changing. I still foresee. I mean, the courts are still
every now and then. It's a rare occasion.
They're still a little jaded towards women's favor, but slowly but surely, the city boys were going to come back.
But
up.
also look at it this way as well. Also with time sharing, back in the day, there used to be this tender years doctrine that said there's a presumption that if you have a child of baby tender years, it goes with the mom. Now there's no presumptions
Look at the case
anymore.
last week that you guys went to the court and the baby is a year old and you asked the judge, what are you going to rule? And then he said, I'm going to give 50-50 time sharing.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't care that the kid's 1 year old.
1 year old mom wasn't breastfeeding, but we basically went to a hearing, talked to the judge about the factors. Because look, if you have a parent with a psychological problem, Baker acted, Marchman acted, heavy drugs, tried to commit suicide. Okay, this takes your case out of the normal realm. But if you just have mommy daddy issues or Pinecrest problems, like judges are going to land on 50.
What's a Pinecrest
Well,
problem?
Kind of the rich people problems where you're picking up the kid late from tennis or something.
It's an area in Miami, Pinecrest.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm just saying, if you have just a normal bickering, judges are going to do 50-50 all day these days unless you have, compelling evidence as to why.
That's why that father shouldn't get 50-50.
Right, gotcha. So most situations, parents are going to get 50-50 nowadays. How would a guy? This is going to sound a little evil, but let's say if a guy is like, you know what, man, this woman, she's not fit to be a full-time mom. I want to be the full-time parent. And it's very difficult for guys to get sole custody of their child. But how should guys strategize?
Are there
Not strategize,
yeah,
but-
I mean, it's hard to strategize. How am I going to get her to be a heroin addict? Huh? How am I going to get her to try?
Crazy, though, to get your kid?
Yes, you have to have some sort of calamitous
For both
situation.
sides.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have some very compelling evidence. I mean, because look,
What if
parents.
she's a cheater?
Oh well, shouldn't have had a kid with a cheater.
What if she's
But, I mean, is she introducing your son to another woman as mom? Okay, now you have a real problem. But after people get divorced, people start seeing other people again. But look, I hate to belittle or demean having a child, but I tell my clients in paternity cases, look, it takes more in Miami-Dade County to get a library card than it does to have a child with someone. Really, it's not. I mean, really, one night stand. That's it. Conception. Baby, you have, and once you go to court, you establish, you get your rights and responsibilities, but you have those obligations.
You just reminded me of a case that I did, that I handled, where the people met. It was on the internet. They met. They met and they went out one night, had a one night stand. He got her pregnant on that one and only night that they met up and had sex. Okay.
Wow.
9 months later, she reaches out and says, I'm pregnant. And the guy's like, I don't really care. I don't even know you. She's like, yeah, I don't know you either. But then in the state of Florida, when women go and ask for help, like government help, the state tends to put the father on child support. Okay. Because, right. So she was asking for Medicaid or some sort of government help. Long story short, when that happened, he went to a lawyer. He did the right thing. And what do you think the lawyer said? Same thing we're telling you. Hey, get some time sharing with that child. And one of the things she said to me in my office crying was, I don't know him. I don't even know where he lives. I don't know who lives with him. How is it that my baby is now going to have to go and be with this man overnight? I don't know who this man is. And you know what the court would have said? We ended up settling the case, but the court would have said, it doesn't matter. Too bad. Like, that is the father. Unless he is everything Dan just said, drug addict, then you have to prove it. He's going to get his time sharing with his child.
Yeah,
at the end.
I would start doing drugs right away. Get out of that ASAP, man. Good Lord, that's crazy.
Okay, so she went to apply for the benefits, and then that's when the state tracked him down as the
dad?
Right.
It was the state.
Or did she put him down on the paperwork
well,
that he's the father?
They ask you, who is the dad? Because the government wants to know. You want me to pay for your kids' WIC or diapers or whatever? I want to put the daddy to be responsible too.
And the department will always incur costs in these cases, and at the end of the day, they always move for costs, and they get the costs. Right. So, yeah, you're
so they identified him. He gets a letter in. Now, what does he do next? Does he establish paternity? What does he do?
He basically has to file a companion paternity case to get his time sharing, because right, in the child support case, you don't get the judge doesn't do anything other than order child support. No time sharing, nothing about the best interest of the children. But you go to family court and you get your paternity established, you get a time sharing schedule, you get regular consistent overnight time sharing, it reduces your child support.
Wait, hold on. So you're saying they're going to make him pay the child support, but let's say that wasn't his kid. Is he still on the hook to pay even though the woman can't prove that that's his kid?
No. He's going to do a motion for scientific testing and he can ask for DNA. Okay.
So she alleged that it was him. The state contacts him. Hey, she applied for benefits. You need to pay into this too, asshole. And then he gets notified, and then he can go ahead and say, whoa, this ain't me. I want scientific testing before he's liable for anything.
He could challenge his paternity in the state case, absolutely.
Okay,
sure.
So would he be liable to pay while he does that, or
no? They would test the paternity to make sure that the kid, I mean, especially if you're talking about a baby. Look, there are some really random cases where people have a baby and then they raise the child for years and years, and the child's like 9 years old, and then all of a sudden they found out, hey, mom was cheating and it's really the mailman's kid, and dad's like, hey, I want to have a DNA test to make sure that, and the court is going to be like, oh, no, you've raised this, it is not in the child's best interest to have this dad have a DNA test, because guess what if it's not you? Okay, well, what if you're not the father? Guess what? Ask this kid who the father is for the first 9 years. Like, that's daddy. Like, so sorry. So, if once you learn about that child, like, you better, you need to assert that DNA immediately, not after raising him for 5 years as like, little Daniel. And, oh, sorry, buddy. Like, me and mommy are fighting. So, I'm gonna check something real quick. Let me get a hair from you.
I've heard stories too, like where, like, let's say you're a stepdad, right? And the child's young. Let's say they're like 1, 2, whatever. And they share a bond with the stepdad, and they start calling him dad, he's liable for child support at that point.
No. Still stepdad on that point.
No, stepdad, at least in the state of Florida, will not be liable. I had a consultation the other day where the woman called. She raised the guy's daughter, and the girl's 16 now, the daughter. And she said to me, we're getting a divorce and I want the 16-year-old to come live with me. I said, you have no rights over her. She calls me mom. I've raised her since she was 3 months old. She
should have adopted her.
Should have adopted her. But again, and be careful, if you adopt a child that's not yours, then you will be responsible for that child support.
Sure.
Got him.
All right.
Okay.
Guys, do us a quick favor. All right, we got a couple questions here. Guys, do me a quick favor.
Like the video.
Please like the video, because I'm looking right now and we only got 1.3K likes. Guys, for us to grow, I've realized we need to get the likes up. We need to become like Nazis. I hate to do that, but guys, I need you guys to like us. The video right now, we got 116 of you guys watching us on YouTube, and then we got another couple hundred on Twitch. Guys, just like the video. Do us a quick favor. Just click that like button, man. Get us to, let's say, 1,800 likes, man? 1,800? Cool. That's nothing, man.
Yeah, that's fine.
And also, guys, thank you once again for 400K subscribers.
Yeah, seriously. Man. Thank you, guys.
401.
Yeah,
500K on the way.
500K on the way. We're at 401K. We're growing at a rate of about 500 to 1,000 per day right now. It's a fucking blessing. We would not be here without you guys. I'll tell you guys this. After all the stuff we went through, we would not have been able to come back without y'all's support, man. So thank you guys so much. We fucking love you guys. We're going to keep giving you guys goddamn fire content. All right. So let's see here. We got
and guys, we're only answering $10 and up. Some of you guys are super chat $5. Oh yeah. You guys have to read the rules. All right. We're not answering $5.
Okay,
Black
let's see here.
Tiger.
We'll read it out though. Don't worry. I heard a mom can get any man with child support if he demonstrates parental duties, daycare, babysit, even if the child is not biologically his.
That's what I heard too.
Well, we just answered that.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Like if you're in the kid's life for a significant amount of time, then you find out later on that biologically it's not your kid. Then, whoop, too bad, man. You took an L for dealing with a 304. John Velez. $5. Liberal arts degree is not higher education. This is true. Black Tiger 07. I'm an attorney in Australia and previously worked in mortgage recoveries during my studies. I saw many men losing the majority of their money and assets post-divorce. Seems to be systematic in the West. Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah, man. I mean, you just gotta. You know what? Maybe I got a question for the attorney since we got him here. Noctis Lucas Calum? PJ Washington recently got divorced and is supposedly paying $200,000 in child support to Brittany Renner. Is this even true? And also, will it ever be possible for him to reclaim full custody?
So
actually, we got some inside info on this.
Apparently, it is not true.
Yes.
From some behind the scenes info, and actually, it is way less. And the state that they actually live in, the amount is actually limited.
Well, I think the state that they banged in, is that what it was?
Yeah. It's
Somewhere
limited
like
to a
Virginia or
certain
something like
amount. So that number's, I don't know how they got that number, but it doesn't
They probably did the calculations.
Yeah.
And figured it out. That's what he would owe if he did pay it. You know what I'm saying?
But he's not really paying 20K.
I got it.
Can
So
you tell them the
I got it. So
NFL
two different things. So
Yeah.
just to touch on that. So time sharing and child support are always going to be modifiable. So I don't really know too much about that case, but anything could happen in the future.
Y'all wanna pull it up?
No, that's all right.
Okay.
But so I represent someone who has a celebrity type father, and it's a paternity case. So here we get into good fortune child support.
He's a baller.
So
He plays ball.
Okay.
so
we're just
so either way. So let's just say when you run the child support guidelines with his income and her having no income,
A lot of money.
Let's just say the child support guideline
she has
amount.
no income?
Right. So let's just say the child support guideline amount.
Wonder
Let's
why.
just, and I'm
She's a
just
stay-at-home
picking a number.
mother.
So either way, let's just say it's $15,000 a month or $20,000 a month based on what the guidelines say. The argument on his attorney's behalf is basically that look, he is the child of good fortune child support. However, these calculations exceed the child's true need,
Yeah,
so he shouldn't
exactly.
have. So look, let's just say you had someone like, I don't know, Tom Cruise, who had like $100 million a year.
Yep.
You know, the child support guideline might be like something ridiculous.
$6 million or
just
something.
Yeah.
something ridiculous. In that case, now all of a sudden this good fortune child support law is going to be applicable, and they're just going to be looking a bit more on, you know, what is the private school cost, what is the private therapy, what is Bob, like basically have in that type of case, you're going to have a forensic accountant with a child's budget, and you're going to have a whole like, you know, budget of what the child has and needs, and they're going to come up with a fair and reasonable child support amount when dad's making $100 million a year or something crazy. My guy's not making $100 million a year. I'm just using that as crazy.
Yeah.
example.
Were they married or
No, paternity case. No,
just
no.
just smashed and that's it?
Damn. That's scary, bro.
Yeah.
But hold on.
Might need to wrap it up.
All I'm going to say is that in this case, that's not exactly what happened. There's more of a back. And look, lots of people are together for a really long time, perhaps even their whole lives, and they just don't get married. And at the end of the day, you have a paternity case because, look, if you don't get married, you're not entitled to equitable distribution. You're not entitled to alimony. In a paternity case, all we're talking about is a parenting plan, child support, and if things get crazy, attorney's fees. But, you know, there are other cases where you have a same type of case. Let's just say the parties buy a house and they're jointly titled on it. If you file a paternity case, the court has no jurisdiction over the house or any personal property issues. You need to go file a separate case in the civil court. So, you know,
Since they're not married.
Paternity is very, very, very narrow.
Good. Okay.
Yo.
Well, at least that.
At least that. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not surprised because a lot of athletes they don't wrap it up. So
Yeah.
there's a bunch of those cases probably out there.
Yeah. We fuck up sometimes too. Over
Yeah,
here.
we do. Not gonna lie.
Okay. All right. We got Guru $1. Thank you so much. A-Pen, the Savage. So basically, whoever makes the most pays child support.
Not necessarily, because remember, overnights is a huge factor. So,
Yeah. I just learned something new every day with that.
So look, there could be a disparity in the income, but because one party has more or all of the overnights, they're not paying child support. You know,
Okay.
so income is a big factor, but so is overnights and other factors.
Okay. Guru, again, what if I'm disabled but I still provide food, clothes, and gas?
Great question.
What can I do to benefit the kids
so-
and me?
I mean,
okay.
it's $5 to answer.
So disability income could be considered.
question.
But then again, if you're talking about disabled but you don't have an income and you can't work, now all of a sudden income shouldn't be imputed for you for purposes of paying child support because you're disabled and you're unable to work. But look, disability in family law is a we could have a whole show on certain disability benefits and what happens when you have disabled children, when you have disabled parents. Disabled children or just special needs children and self-employment are basically like red flags in family law cases where it's going to get complicated.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. Okay. We got Candace Woodson, $10. She goes, can y'all shout out your number one fan, Ashby, for me?
Yeah, she's the person that I sent a DM to you, Fresh. He wants to sign up for Patreon.
Okay, Ashby.
Yeah, he's blind, so he wants to sign up Patreon, and so audio only. So
Shout out to you, man.
Yeah, shout out to you, man.
So,
we got you.
I think he's asking what's the best tier for him to sign on the Fresh. The best tier, $20 tier, $50 tier to answer his questions. So
Well, audio is everything.
yeah.
50, you get everything.
50 is everything.
okay, so $50.
And don't worry, guys. We got y'all on the 5 signs. She belongs to the streets. Don't worry. Like that, as it say for YouTube. Don't worry. We got y'all on that. We just got really busy this weekend, as you guys know, with No Jumper being in town and everything else like that. Okay.
All right, let me take it off first.
Okay. We got. Let's see here. We got $10 from Fred Ward. With marriage rates on the decline, what will it take to increase marriage rates? Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, I guess we can each tackle this. I don't know, bro. I don't see marriage rates going back up, bro. Personally, I think they're going to continue to decline. As women make more money, they're going to see less and less guys as worthy of being marriage material, essentially. And we're just going to continue with the casual hookup culture. And I don't foresee marriage going back up. Personally, I don't. I really don't. What do you guys think? What do you guys projections?
I think if more people do prenuptial agreements, more people will get married.
That too. That too. If they know if they do it correctly, if they do it through like y'all or something like that, where you guys can...
because then you don't have them. Look, a lot of people may not get married because they have these horror stories of these horrible, awful divorces. But if you have a prenuptial agreement, everything's already set aside and worked out.
But you gotta have a good one though, from good attorneys that know how to update it and add all those clauses that we talked about last time.
We have a case right now where the people got married less than a year ago, maybe a year ago at most. Dan did the prenup at Prada, so it was you were already at Prada. The guy called him maybe about a month ago and said, "Hey, Dan was, hey, how are you? How's everything?" He said, "Look, everything's great, but we're getting a divorce, and thank God because that prenup is looking right about now.
Yeah.
Can you help us with the divorce?" She's not fighting anything. She agrees that everything is there, and it is what it is. She's only going to get whatever's there, and
Perfect.
I mean, that's great. Again, it doesn't happen every time, but that was one of the benefits of maybe her knowing that everything was done correctly. And, she's like, I'm not going to fight it. Just let's get divorced pursuant to that document.
And you know what? And here's the thing, because we got to address the elephant in the room. Obviously, guys, on this podcast, you hear me and Fresh say it all the time, don't get married. But let's be honest.
You can do
a lot
it anyway.
of you guys are going to get fucking married anyway. A lot of you guys want to believe in the Disney fairy tale. And honestly, real talk. A lot of you want to have children, which I agree. If you're going to have children, the best way to do it is within the confinements of a marriage. Yeah. But today's day and age, the marriage laws have not caught up with, what's been going on. So you need to get a prenuptial agreement. And, we discussed, you guys should see the other episodes we did where we talked about, drafting a prenuptial agreement. But I guess, can you guys give them maybe some basic things that they need to look for, like as far as like understand? Because the strength of your prenuptial agreement is going to be contingent upon the attorneys.
Over disclose, right? Like in the case we were talking about, that whole lying on your disclosure gets you in trouble.
Yeah.
Like over disclose. It's even if you're valuing your assets, value them high. Because if you own a piece of real property, like if it's worth $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, say it's worth $500,000 because she's waiving it. So go above and beyond in your disclosure.
So over disclosing is actually good to do.
Protects yourself. Yeah. Absolutely.
Over disclosing and over. What did you say? The overvaluing.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen cases where someone may disclose a retirement account but not a pension, and all of a sudden you have these problems because it's on, and they're like, shit, I didn't even know I had a.
Oh man,
damn.
Right.
So and then how often should they update? Because I think this is what trips a lot of guys up is they don't update their prenuptial agreement periodically.
I don't think you really have to because there's no duty to update your prenuptial agreement. You do it at the time that you're married because if you do it right, everything that from the point you get married going forward, it's all separate. It's all non-marital for both of you.
Inheritance doesn't count, right?
Statutorily, inheritance is non-marital. However, don't be that guy that gets your $100,000 inheritance and puts it in a joint account with $50,000 in marital funds and then goes and commingles it for years. Because now all of a sudden you've commingled, you've lost it. So if you get $100,000 and you put it in your own individual account and you don't touch it, that's going to stay yours.
Okay.
Regardless of whether or not you have a prenup.
Now,
but
what
don't
if there's
commingle
like a big life event? Let's say you get a big promotion, or you I don't know, acquire some kind of money somehow. Should you update the prenuptial agreement now that your financial situation has changed and you're earning more money?
Not necessarily, because if you did it right the first time, it's going to say everything that you earn is separate and non-marital. So the point is you got a promotion, but it's still the promotion is due to your non-marital efforts.
Okay.
So as long as you do it right the first time, there shouldn't be any sort of reason to, open that back up again. But look, don't get me wrong. Life happens. Like, let's say, you have this prenup and all of a sudden someone gets disabled. And now all of a sudden, there's an issue here, and now someone may have to agree to pay support to the other, right? But you do an addendum or some sort of, or a postnup or something like that. But life is what happens when people are making plans.
Yeah.
So you can always update if there's some sort of catastrophic or crazy situation. But to answer your question, I don't think you need to. People don't regularly update prenups. I don't get calls saying, "Hey, I want to update my prenup." Like that's just
like a will, which I think
a will might be total. A will
all of
is
a sudden
totally
you hate
different.
your kid, you want to take them out.
So if you did it right the first time and you disclosed everything properly and you told them, "Hey, all the money that I make is mine. All the money you make is yours. Everything we come into this is mine. Everything is yours. You do it from the beginning. You're good." So I guess. So where do most people run into problems? It seems to me they don't disclose everything. Okay.
Sure, not disclosing something, or here it is a day and a half before your wedding, and the family's in from out of town, and everyone's got their tuxedos and everything, and now exactly, yeah. So
what would you say is how soon? And obviously, guys, if you want to get a prenuptial agreement, hit them up. But general, like, how soon should someone?
I mean, there's no hard and fast rule. There's case law and all sorts of different cases. But look, you definitely don't want to be signing anything within 24 to 48 hours before a wedding. Definitely no.
Not, yeah.
And the thing is, look, there are cases where, let's say, they may have signed it 3 days before the wedding, but the husband actually gave it to her a year before the wedding. So, like, there's again totality of circumstances arguments here.
Okay. I would say too, no matter what, both sides have an attorney, and if the other side can't afford it, it's going to be the best money for you to invest and pay for their attorney. If so that both sides have an attorney, and hopefully an attorney that doesn't have anything to do with your attorney. That then she can later, or he can later on say, well, they all, they were all in on it together. They all conspired against me. So let it be an independent. In other words, let that person go find their own attorney on their own, so they can't say you told me to go to this guy.
And you just give her the money for it.
Exactly, and you just give her the money for it, or you send the payment. I've had people hire us for prenups where the husband or future husband will just wire us the money directly. We've never spoken to him. He doesn't know who we are. She found us on Google, Avo, whatever it was.
FreshandFit Podcast.
And FreshandFit Podcast, and then she hired us.
Okay, so all right, so the sooner the better, right? Maybe 6 months in advance, maybe a year in advance before the wedding.
I mean, that's a long time.
I would say at least 3 months, in my opinion.
Minimum 3 months.
But even a month is fine. Look, I've got cases upholding them at like 10 days, 14 days. But
damn.
But again, it may be because the agreement was provided in advance. Both parties had counsel. There was negotiations. There were lots of drafts that were going back and forth. And again,
so they knew it was coming.
Right.
Exactly.
There's we'll have court reporters and videographers when they sign. They're making sure that
That's
you
a pro
doing
tip
this
right there.
freely and voluntarily. Yeah, that way they're not like, oh yeah, by the way, I was taking my Ambien, my Xanax, and I don't remember the last 3 days of what I was signing or anything.
Like Dr. Dre, he had a gun to my head at the studio or something, whatever she alleged, something crazy. You pay for the videographer, you pay for the court reporter, and you ask the pertinent questions. Are you on drugs today? Did you take any medicine this morning? Do you know what you're signing? Has anybody forced you to sign? All these questions.
Hold on 1 second, because this is this is really good stuff right here. Because here's the thing: prenuptial agreements get a really bad rap on this side of the internet because I think it comes from probably a combination of misinformation, bad stories, bad prenuptial agreements, not taking the precautions as they're stating right now with what you need to do. And I'm just learning right now, like getting them an attorney, like So if you had just told them, okay, I'm getting an attorney, we're going to do a prenuptial agreement. You got an attorney, she don't got one, then she signs it. She can come back and challenge that down the road.
I was watching
Hold on,
go ahead.
Like the video, by the way, goddamn guys. Please like the goddamn video.
There is some Florida case law that says that not having an attorney is not an independent basis to challenge it, because at the time, you probably were asked, do you want counsel? Do you need counsel? And if you say, I don't want counsel, that's your right. But you can't come back and say, hey, I don't want counsel. But 10 years later, wait, I didn't get counsel, so now I could use it as a basis.
But you would need to be able to prove that, though, right? That they didn't challenge it or anything like that.
Look, usually if we draft an agreement and the other side doesn't have counsel, we're going to put in the agreement.
Okay.
You had the opportunity to retain
You were
counsel.
offered one.
We have not provided you with any legal advice. In fact, we've told you to go get a lawyer, and you're still saying no. So
Okay.
yeah, we make it really crystal. And
For you
then,
guys.
and then
Initial
at the
here.
time, yeah.
Thank you.
And then at
Initial.
the time of signing, same thing. We've offered you a lawyer, haven't you? There's no promises. No one's made you any promises outside of what's in this agreement. Blah 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 blah. But yes, putting everything on the record to protect yourself.
Of course. And you guys have you said a stenographer,
a court reporter that will
court
do
reporter,
video
okay.
because usually you'd have like a video camera or something, but it's via Zoom these days.
And it's all done obviously under oath and everything.
Oh
else
yeah,
like that,
with a
so.
court reporter and exactly.
See, because I think a lot of people what they'll do is like they'll do some like some BS, like they'll go to like a justice of the peace or whatever, and we're gonna do a prenuptial agreement through you guys. I mean, different states have it. Does Florida have justice of the pieces?
I don't think
That's
so.
a Texas
No.
thing. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think
But
so.
but yeah,
look,
like-
I mean, if you go online in 1995, like prenuptial agreements, I mean, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's probably not the way to do. I mean, look, especially if you're talking about protecting, again, a piece of real estate, a business. These are things that are probably worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. So this
Yeah.
is not something you should do. If you're going to have heart surgery or like eye surgery, are you going to go to like Bob's discount fish and chips heart surgery and eye surgery place? No,
No,
it's
you
crazy. You go to a specialist.
Yeah, and honestly, this is a good point because, like I said, guys are gonna go out there and get married anyway, and to raise the kids the best way, you're gonna want to be married regardless. So if you're gonna do it, guys, take these precautions that they're mentioning. And these are just some basics. I guarantee there's a bunch of other stuff we're probably not even going into here, but just the idea of like, hey, you need to get her a lawyer. I didn't think about that. Like that's huge. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, and we offer free consultations. So, you call our office, you make an appointment, call Dan. Dan, you can tell them how they can reach you. How can they reach you, the people?
Which by my email address?
I don't know. You tell
Sure.
me how do you want them to reach you.
dsilver@prada.law. That's the best way to reach.
Yeah.
Silver
And
at
you-
Prada.law.
and you're like the main family attorney there.
I am the
family
partner
attorney.
at the Family Law Attorney. Recently awarded. Did you?
Oh, yes. We wanted to mention,
I think we sent you the write-up as well, but I'm going to be featured as a top attorney in the Daily Business Review. Top
Dang,
business
man.
attorney.
There you go. Congrats, man.
And I've also
Double Don DeMarco on that one, man.
I've become AV rated. There's a lawyer service called Martindale Hubble. They basically, AV is the top rating. I'm also 10 out of 10 out of Avo. I have great client reviews. Look, you Google me, you're going to see what I'm talking
We
about.
only
the
bring you
best.
guys the best, man. We're
Best
not
of the
bringing you
best.
some like some shady family attorney. Hey, bro, just give me your money and I'll write you a prenuptial agreement. I got you, baby. Like, nah, man.
They don't let anyone into the National Association of Distinguished Counsel.
Yeah, they're
They
not
just
going to do
don't.
that, man. So this is a top tier attorney here, guys. Please like the video, man, because we're getting you guys the best that we can here. We'll hit the last super chats here and then bring this up. And by the way, guys, we're at 1.8K likes. Do me a huge favor.
There you go.
Can you guys get us to 2,000 likes, man? Get us up to that, 90, 80-ish percentage engagement. It'll help us a lot. We appreciate it. And we'll bring back Jen and Dan in the future as well to talk about something else. Give us a topic and we'll bring it in and we'll tackle it for you guys. We got
Marcos Garcia, $20.
Okay. Can you ask if there is Postnups?
Yeah, we did earlier.
Yeah, we answered it earlier. If you go back, don't worry, guys. Timestamps are going to be in the video, and we're going to put them all there for you. So don't worry. Isaiah McCrimmon, I heard another way to protect yourself when getting married with a prenup is with having legal representation for you and one for her to go over it so the court doesn't throw it out. Does that work? Yeah, we answered that earlier. Yeah, that great question. Great
Definitely
question.
helps,
I
for
mean,
sure.
I didn't know that, and I just learned it just now. So fantastic question. What will happen to the sugar babies if there will be less men earning these amounts? Do you think standards will lower over time for women $10?
Possibly, but
But then there will be a dramatic increase in sugar mamas. Yes.
Potentially.
potentially.
Potentially. I mean, I've seen Fresh. You said that there's an influx of them in Barbados, right?
Well, think about it. If
Not
you're-
Miami.
If you're
Not in Miami,
yeah,
but
but no.
Barbados, maybe.
If you're a tourist from outside, right? You know what I'm saying? You get lifestyle. You see guys that are definitely appealing to you rather than what you got back home. hey, I'll take
You said
care
a
of
lot
you.
of like British
Sugar
mamas.
Italian, German, Canadian. It's a lot.
Supporting Barbadian men.
You call them beach bums because they're on the beach all day looking for tourists.
Interesting.
Really?
Interesting.
Literally.
Interesting.
That's a special situation.
That's a finesse right there.
Yeah. Sir, I would say this, guys, this is my prediction on the marketplace. What's going to happen? What's going to happen is this. Women are not going to find enough eligible bachelors. They're going to get older. They're going to start, their options are going to drop, and they're going to get married. They're going to, find some sucker to marry, and they're going to just make it happen. It is what it is. And then they get married, and then she might divorce him. She might stay with him. Who knows? But, I don't foresee, I foresee that the parental principle that we got going on now, it's going to become even more distinguished. I think a smaller percentage of men are going to be able to get casual sex, and a lot more women are going to be fighting for the small percentage of guys. But hey, I could be wrong. I could be just crazy.
Isn't that the way it is now, though?
It kind of is. Yeah.
Is it really?
It kind of is right
Yeah.
now. I think it's only going to get worse. Personally.
Oh yeah, I hear you.
Okay, let's see here. Anything else, Chris?
Batman. No.
Yeah, we just answered it. Yeah, and then we got DL Saint with the
DL
big $50
Saint, man.
super chat. Thank you so much, man. After hearing all this, if people, girlfriend, family, pressure try to get me to marry, I'm just gonna put my "Stay Over There" T-shirt on and keep it moving.
Can we do it like stay over there?
Yeah, stay over there, right there. Stay over there, lady.
Can that be like our firm banner? Like, stay over there.
But I will tell you this, because like I said before, and we had a whole discussion with this. Yeah, guys, check out shout out to our guys over at the roommates, Chris and Hafiz. We had a big discussion on this, on marriage and everything else like that. Obviously, we're kind of on the side of not getting married, and Hafiz and Chris believed in marriage. But I did say, my exception is if you want to have children. If you want to have children and raise them the best way you can, you should be married. I know a lot of you guys out there want to get married, want to have a family, want to have kids. You guys don't want to be lifetime womanizers like us. I understand that and I respect it. So if you do want to get married, all I'm saying is this: hire attorneys like these guys and get the paperwork in order, protect yourself so that she can't take you to the cleaners, man. And yeah, I mean, those are some great tips right there. Getting her a lawyer, over disclosing, because a lot of guys, I'm not going to talk about my crypto. I'm not going to talk about this real estate property. I'm not going to talk about this raise that I'm going to get. And
I don't care how good your lawyer is. And here's the funny thing.
That's what happened to that woman. And she lost.
Yeah. She hired. She's like, I'm going to hire the best of the best. I'm sorry. In this case, sorry, he couldn't do no good for you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Over disclose and overvalue.
Yeah. Like dead on arrival.
Over disclosure is almost
dead woman walking.
Because we do get a lot of questions on the Instagram too. In addition to family law, we do immigration, we practice civil cases, we do all sorts of disputes, we do personal injury cases, slip and fall, car accidents, we handle bankruptcies. We have 5 attorneys at our law firm, 4 partners, and an associate that we have, and we are actually hiring. So if you are a paralegal, we need a certified family law paralegal. We're hiring in the Midtown office. We're hiring in our Doral office.
There you go.
And I'm looking for attorneys because about 90% of our clientele, 80% are Spanish speakers, only be here in Miami. We would really like you to be able to speak Spanish, por favor. So if it's so, shoot me an email, jcpratt@prada.law. Send me your resume. We're always hiring, and why not from good
there
batch
you
of
go,
folks.
man. For
Right
any
there on the
guys
job.
out there,
You
you
want a
guys
job?
You guys have a great audience. You guys get good questions. We thank you. Look,
we got a high IQ audience for sure.
For sure.
Definitely. Okay. We got Matt here. $5. Sooner or later, the laws have to catch up to the present day, or marriage will cease to exist. Yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised, bro, how many guys just want to have a family, bro, and get married
look,
anyway. That's why that's why I bring them on, because I know guys are gonna get married no matter what we say, no matter what we do, they're gonna do it.
You can still get married, but just do it in the church. That way you don't involve the state. That's what Muslims do.
And actually, Jewish people can do that too. They get married through their, I guess, synagogue or whatnot, right?
Yeah.
It's very interesting. So I had a case.
But then cohabitation comes into
check
play,
it out.
though.
We don't have that here in Florida.
Yeah, I had a case,
Not
and
in
it was
Florida.
actually
No common law marriage here.
Yeah. But
I could live with you for 50 years. I don't get your Social Security. I don't get nothing.
Kids, though.
I love Florida.
Oh, well, you're always going to get child support.
yeah.
Yes,
Right.
always.
I love Florida.
I had a case, and actually these people, they were Jewish. They had a religious ceremony in New York, but they never got a marriage license. And apparently there was a law on the book. I don't know if it's there now, but there was at the time that in New York, if you had a religious ceremony, it could be considered a real marriage for purposes of alimony and equitable distribution. And they had some real problems there.
Oh, shit.
Now, I don't think that is not the law in Florida. But I'm just saying, you have to be careful. You're
Yeah.
thinking, oh, I'm going to have that religious ceremony. I'm golden. Like, maybe not in Wyoming.
So like Dan says, check your local listing. Check your local listing.
And this is really the importance of like consulting with a lawyer in your local area, man, because the laws are very different, guys. Like this stay in your ground law. I tell you this, I'm pretty confident it ain't in California or New York. You know what I'm saying?
But like in Texas, you could probably just shoot court first, ask questions later.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, Texas is like, yeah.
Darn tune.
So, guys, like the video. Comment below for the algorithm for us, right? Help us with the algorithm so we can get back up there, get at the top. And guys,
where can I find
you?
Well, you can go to www.prada.law. That's our website. You can email us, jcpratt@prada.law. For me, for Daniel is
dsilver@prada.law.
my personal Instagram is Pratt, Pratt law @PrattLaw, and our law firm Instagram is @Prada.law.
I give out my cell phone numbers to clients, but not on the
Yeah, but shoot us an email. Shoot if you want a consultation with Dan, shoot him an email. He'll set you up. The consultation is free.
Top-rated family lawyer, baby.
Yep.
And if you become, if you sign up and you become a client, you're going to be able to talk to Dan personally. He's who handles
I'm your
his
lawyer.
cases.
Yeah.
So it's the real deal. And like I said, we're a full service law firm. We not only do only handle family law, we also handle immigration, bankruptcy, civil, entertainment law. I read somebody there talking about entertainment. We actually, one of our partners is an entertainment lawyer. That's all he exclusively does, pretty much. Anything from publishing to royalties to entertainment contracts. You've spoken to him. He's the one that talked to you guys early on.
Yep.
That's what he does. He's been in the music industry for many years. Joel Damas is his name. So look him up. Very Googleable as well. And all our partners are seasoned attorneys. We combined over, I think, 40 years of legal experience.
Awesome.
Dan's been an
I got
attorney.
like 20.
Yeah. I actually just on the 23rd was my 11th year as an attorney. Alexis Garcia, our bankruptcy department. Thank you. Bankruptcy attorney department. She's been an attorney for 12 years. So yeah, we're pretty seasoned attorneys. And yes, Dan is the superstar, top attorney, DBR, and AV rated. But that's why I bagged him. Stay back, ladies. Stay back.
There you go.
Stay back.
Awesome.
Off the
So,
hook.
thank you guys so much for coming,
Thank
man.
you
Every
for
time you
having
guys
us.
come, it's a lot of value. Guys, don't worry.
The number, 888-88-LEGAL. Very easy if you want to call and also have a consultation for any of the other services. So if you want to do have a family issue, hit up Dan at his email. But if you have any other issue in, immigration, civil, whatever, 888-88-LEGAL.
Bam.
Give us a call.
And all their stuff is below in the description, guys. Check them out because I know a lot of you guys want to go out there, get married, or you have kids, or you might have something going on. If you're in the state of Florida, hit them up. They can help you out. And there's the number right there.
Boom.
Thank you guys so much. We hit 2K likes. We'll be back.
We hit it.
Yeah. Yeah, we hit it.
There
man.
you go.
Nice.
And guys,
Nice.
we're going to end the video right now, the stream right now. But just make sure to comment below for the algorithm. We appreciate you guys.
And tonight
Their
we got a
stuff is
surprise
below.
for y'all. Eliza's back.
Oh, shit. Okay, Eliza will be back.
She'll be back, man.
Okay.
All right.
The Throat Goat will be here, guys. Throat Goat. So
What?
we're going to go from really professional show with,
To
really
shit off the
raunchy.
record rock.
So we give y'all everything, man. Peace,
I love
guys.
this show.
Peace.